how do you take a good photo without going over to auto mode. Hello and welcome to the channel again. We are doing another 5-minute quickie where I teach you something in under 5 minutes. And in this episode we are learning the exposure triangle. One of the first things you should learn when picking up a camera like this. Let's slap that timer on screen and let's go. First up, let's talk about shutter speed. That's this number here. As you go down, you see the number decreases. As you go up, you'll see the number increase. Also, something to note, as it goes up, you also notice the screen generally goes darker, and when it goes to the other way, the screen gets a lot brighter. Now, I try to have this on all the time, and that kind of tells you, it helps you. Sometimes, depending on the camera you have, you can't rely on what you see on the screen. Sometimes having this on, as you can see, when it's very bright, here you are, all that you know that you're clipping the highlights. When you go down a lot and it's quite dark, you know it's going to be probably a little bit underexposed. So really, you probably want to be somewhere in that middle. It's all about compromise. As you go lower, things will get brighter, which is maybe what you want. If there's any movement, it's not going to be super sharp. You'll get movement in the scene, and maybe that's what you want. If you're shooting landscapes and things like that, you can go super slow. There's not much movement in the scene. But if you want super sharp still images, then actually you have to go higher in the shutter speed. But the downfall to going higher in the shutter speed is all of a sudden you're super dark. So no matter which way you go, we're compromised either direction. And if you need either a high shutter speed or a low shutter speed, depending on what you're shooting, then you have to compromise something else. So let's move on to aperture and getting that nice bluey background you see here, or maybe a more in focus background, like here. Aperture, this number here, f whatever. Now every lens is going to be different. I've got an f2.8 lens here, so this is as wide as it will open, and as wide is the lower the number. It's letting in more light. Again, it's all about compromise. The lower you go on this particular number, the brighter it is. The higher you go in this number, the darker it is. At a lower f-stop, you're going to get a nice blurry background. But if I was wanting to take a photo of all these trees, then I'm probably going to want to increase that to something like f8. And again, the compromise here is, well, it's darker. And the higher the f-stop, the more in focus everything in front of the camera is going to be. Now f11 is something you quite commonly do landscape at, but look how dark it is. But now this is where ISO comes in. It's an artificial light. When we increase that, then we're again in that middle range, which is good. Everything's exposed correctly. But again, with ISO, we have a compromise. The higher in the ISO, the more grain and noise you can get in the image. So ideally, if you can, the lower the ISO, the better. Most of the time, your cleanest images are always going to be at lower ISOs. However, there are good software out there now that can help with that. Now, unfortunately, there are no perfect settings for every scenario. Some you're going to have to boost your shutter speed up high. Some you're going to have to boost your ISO up high. It's about understanding each setting and adjusting it for your particular scenario. If you understand the settings, you don't need to ask. My recommendation is don't be too afraid to bump up the ISO, but also don't go too low on the shutter speed, especially when you have people move. I saw someone shooting a wedding once and they did it at like 1/100th of a second, and like more than half of the photos were like all blurry and out of focus, and that sucks for the people that had to pay for that. Alright, so that is my quick little how to learn your camera settings, or the main settings, but those are the main ones you need to know in a very short time frame. I hope you learned something. I hope you could give this video a like, subscribe for more. I'm doing more of these little learning things. I'm going to try every few weeks if I can. Thanks for watching this video, everybody. Hit that like button if you liked it, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in the next video.